Hello Facebook forum and YouTube people. Just going to do a quick tour of this big tank that I've got set up. It's a 5-foot rimless Aquastyle CADE, which I got a really good deal on Gumtree. Quite happy about that. It does have a 4-foot sump attached to it, so it is my first experiment with CO2 and a sump, which will be quite interesting. As you'll notice here, I've got 2 big pieces of mangrove wood. 3 actually. This one's silicon together to make it look like a bigger tree. A couple of other root looking systems sticking out there, covered in, I do believe, spiky moss. So that'll be interesting to see as it grows out. Straight away you'll notice some petite anubias that I super glued to all the pieces of driftwood as well. There is, I think, 30 kilograms of Sirius stone stuck in here. It is raising my pH a little, so I've got to figure out how I'm going to counteract that. The soil is made up of 50 or 45 kilograms worth of ADA Amazonia. The top layer, which you might see clearly here, is that of the powder ADA. So just something smaller so that carpeting plants can grow into a bit more. Just your casual Bunnings playground sand has been made up using with the river, so that's pretty nice. With a couple of people on the Facebook forums, I've been able to source a lot of these plants. So we've got some Physidans here. You've got a lot of the plants actually are from Jeffrey Belbin from LCA. Some Rotala indica, which he was so kindly able to give me. I've got to look after those as a promise to him. HC will be the carpeting plant of choice, even on this side as well. Stuck in the root systems there is Sturgeon repens. What we have here from Aquarium Life Forums, a friend of mine that lives close gave me some willow moss, so that's taken off. It was on stainless steel mesh. I've super glued it into the connection point where these 2 pieces of wood go, so just hiding the silicon, which worked out really nicely for me. Wedged up the back here is Monte Carlo, half submersed on a little point there, just seeing how it goes. There's some rock wool in this location, so I've got some leftover snippings of Monte Carlo, see how that grows. What we have at the back there, Rotala Hurrah. There are so many other plants that I did purchase, but I really can't remember the scientific name off the top of my head. Might put those in the comments section. We also have some HM, which I grew in my shrimp tank. This started off seed without any CO2, so that's taking off. You'll notice there's some mini Pellia, which isn't growing too nicely, except that bit over there it is. I have been spot dosing them with hydrogen peroxide, so it's kind of killed them off a little, only due to a recent outbreak of, was it blue-green algae? Some Christmas moss at the back. You'll notice that there is quite a few fish in here, so I'll just say off the numbers. We've got 1 blue ram. Inside the tank there are 14 otocinclus in total. We have 19 red cherry barbs, so they're not really aggressive. They squabble with each other, but they're actually quite docile. They seem to not school like the other fish. They'll just randomly be everywhere. Some females, some males. We've got some Corydoreus pygmaeus, so some dwarf cories. There are 12 in total. I do have 1 sick one in here which I've got my eye on. Poor thing, got beaten up in transport. There is 40 very shy cardinal tetras. They're not showing their full colours just yet because they've only been put in the tank today. I've fattened them up with some bloodworms, so hopefully they'll shine through. What else can I show you in here? Some swords. The big pieces of driftwood do extend outside of the tank. I plan to place some air plants, maybe an orchid, some grandfather's beard, see how they go. You'll notice here, what's giving off this fantastic lighting is actually 2 Kessel A360s with tunable features. Quite nice. Sunset, very bright blue. I'll have to set them back to what I had them on earlier. I got this CADE with, what are these? How did a red cherry shrimp get up here? Little surprise for me there, didn't notice that one. There's, when I got this tank, it was pre-drilled, the 2 25mm bulkheads. Initially I thought it was going to work swell, but I've had to increase the outflow due to my 5,000 litre an hour internal pump, so you'll see that shortly. There is a continuous siphon here to help the water flow, so it's working nicely. You're not getting any gurgling from the siphoning bulkhead. You have, I have some space here, you'll see there's a 6.8 kilogram CO2 bottle. I'll have to increase that. I do not have a proper CO2 checker just yet, so like a bubble checker. So once I have one, I'll probably increase the CO2 quite a bit so that I see everything purling quite nicely. I do have some green spot algae starting, but I've got a really big magnet that'll get rid of it. But today's the first night of having my cleanup crew, so we'll see how they go. Look at this, my male Pistogramma cactuides. There's a male and a female within this tank. I originally had 40 or so red-nosed shrimp and Darwin algae shrimp. I've had a couple of casualties jumping out of the tank. These are hanging up just for stability for time being. I'll be hiding the wires later. I wasn't 100% sure that this tank wasn't going to break, so I wanted to keep the electricity slightly higher than the floor. Here is the CO2 reactor, one of your ISTA turbo, I think. It's connected there. There's a T intersection down the base in the sump. So that's going to give me hopefully 100% CO2 dissolution, I don't know, breakup. And just checking out the sump here quickly before my battery runs out. The 4 foot sump has a filter sock. Let me focus. Filter sock with some filter mesh. You'll see some matrix along with bulk filter wall that I've lined between the what is it? Plastic mesh. And bag of, what is it, Purigen? And in the sump, moss full of Java moss, spiky moss, what my girlfriend calls pondweed. So I stuck that in the base. I'm going to have that in the main tank, doesn't look too pretty. And there is 50 red cherry shrimps in here, which I'll be breeding so that I can use as food later on. It'll be exciting. Get some pretty colours out of my epistos. More matrix, more filter floss. You've also got a bread crate which I chopped up and silicone together so that it'll protect it for my 300 watt Jaeger heater. So I've got some max lines there. That was the original max from the previous owner, but this is my new max. Looks like I've got to top it up. Here's my homemade T intersection, made up with quite a few bits and pieces that I scored from Reese Plumbing. So that'll go off to the CO2 reactor, that'll go straight up into the tank. And there's these are recently released. You've got your NIOS 5,000 litre per hour Viper. They're actually doing really well. This tank is so silent. I've had other tanks, they just always hear this splashing, but there you go guys. I'll keep you updated as everything does grow in. Very fast car going past. I live in the city, you see. So, gotta try and make this a centerpiece in the apartment. I've only just started this hobby. Let's see how everything goes. First ever Aquascape tank. Let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe. Talk to you all soon. Bye bye.